Football, born in England, spread across the world at astonishing speed from the late 19th century onwards. But in those early days, the game was dominated by a style known as kick and rush. Rather than exchanging short, careful passes, players would launch long balls far upfield, charging forward in numbers to chase them down. To win such matches, teams relied heavily on players blessed with physical power. Men who could strike the ball with great force, leap high to win headers, sprint fast to reach loose balls, and shoulder off on rushing opponents. In other words, football in its formative years was a game for the strong and athletic. For those who were small or slight of frame, there was little room to shine. Yet, thanks to the invention of the short passing game, even the so-called slim and small could now thrive in football. With technical skill on the ball, a player no longer needed to rely on long, hopeful kicks. By combining short, precise passes, teams could advance deep into enemy territory, weave through defenders who sought to overpower them, and still find the net. It is no exaggeration to say that this revolutionary approach, this art of conquering strength with skill, was one of the key reasons football captured the world's imagination. But where, you might ask, did this short passing style first emerge? The answer may surprise you: it was born in Scotland. Why, of all places, did such an unconventional idea take root in Scotland? To understand that, we must look at the historical and cultural background of Britain itself. As you know, the United Kingdom, officially the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, consists of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. While England has long been the political and economic centre of the Union, English football, since its very beginning, had favoured the long ball approach. There were good reasons for this. Firstly, there was the physical factor. The Anglo-Saxon population, which made up the majority in England, tended to be taller and more robust. For them, a long ball game that emphasized aerial duels, speed, and power suited their physique perfectly. Secondly, there were geographical and climatic reasons. Britain is famously wet and overcast, with relatively few sunny days. When pitches became muddy after rain, kicking the ball long was often the most efficient way to move it forward. Even in dry conditions, English grass grew quickly and thick, making the surface hard and uneven, not ideal for short passing. Moreover, thanks to the legacy of aristocratic hunting grounds and manor estates, England had no shortage of open fields and spacious parks. In such wide expanses, it was only natural that children playing football grew accustomed to launching long passes rather than playing short ones. And so, as the cradle and pioneer of modern football, England reigned supreme with its kick and rush philosophy. Then, on the 5th of March, 1870, England and their northern neighbour Scotland met in what is recognised as the world's first unofficial international football match, held in London. Although the Scots managed a draw in that first encounter, they went on to suffer defeat after defeat in subsequent meetings. The reason was clear: physically, they were at a disadvantage. Scotland's Celtic population tended to be smaller and slighter than their Anglo-Saxon counterparts. Against England's physically imposing long ball tactics, the Scots struggled mightily. To make matters worse, Scotland's northern climate often brought strong winds, which made it nearly impossible to aim long passes accurately. Frustrated by constant losses, the Scots began to rethink their approach. They asked themselves, what if we stop punting the ball long, and instead keep it on the ground, passing it carefully from man to man? Couldn't that help us beat England? And so, in Scotland, a new philosophy was born, a technical, ground-based style focused on short passing and teamwork, a direct counter to England's brute force football. The results were dramatic. From 1872 onwards, over the next 10 years, Scotland faced England 11 times, winning 7, drawing twice, and losing only 2. The underdogs had turned the tables. The Scots had done more than just find a way to defeat England. They had created an entirely new identity, one that valued skill, intelligence, and cooperation over sheer power. Unknowingly, their invention would go on to influence football far beyond their borders, across continental Europe and even to South America. In the 19th century, the British Empire was at its zenith. With colonies across the globe and British workers, sailors, and engineers stationed almost everywhere, it's been said that if you threw a stone anywhere on Earth, you were likely to hit an Englishman. Through these people, football spread rapidly across the planet. When the game reached continental Europe and South America, it took root mainly in port cities, places like Porto, Genoa, Le Havre, Buenos Aires, Amsterdam, and Rio de Janeiro, where British workers were based. Unlike England, these cities had few wide-open fields. Instead, young people played football in narrow back streets and alleys paved with hard stone. Street football was born. In those cramped spaces, there was no room for long passes. The Scottish-style short passing game fit perfectly. Soon, street kids with a flair for improvisation began experimenting, adding quick touches, feints, and dazzling dribbles, using the soles of their boots and nimble footwork to dance past defenders. From these streets emerged legends Pelé, Johan Cruyff, and Diego Maradona. Today, modern football prizes build up play and possession. Teams seek to keep the ball, to control the tempo, and to create through movement and passing, rather than simply hoofing it long and hoping for the best. Exceptions still exist, of course, but the general philosophy is clear. And if we trace that lineage back far enough, it leads us directly to Scotland. Without the Scottish passing game, we might never have seen the rise of street football, nor the birth of the great cracks like Pelé. We might never have developed the possession-based tactics we admire today. And who knows, perhaps even tiki-taka, the beautiful, intricate passing style synonymous with FC Barcelona, might never have existed. From the standpoint of creativity, diversity, and joy, the contribution of Scottish football's pioneers deserves the highest respect. Their innovation didn't just change how the game was played, it changed what football could be.